Welcome to Tax Smarts Unlocked, the podcast for individuals and small business owners looking to conquer the tax landscape with confidence. Hosted by seasoned tax professional David Robson of Premier Tax and Business Services, each episode is packed with insightful advice on proactive tax planning to help you navigate the complexities of tax laws. Here's your host, David Robson.
Welcome to Tax Smarts Unlocked. I'm David Robson, your guide to calmer, smarter tax decisions. Today we're unpacking the future of tax planning and how AI is transforming both compliance and strategy. When I say AI in tax, I don't mean a robot filing your return while you sip coffee, though I'm not opposed to the coffee. I mean practical tools, optical character recognition that reads receipts and 1099s, machine learning that categorizes transactions, anomaly detection that flags oddities before the IRS does, and generative assistants that draft memos, client emails, and tax planning scenarios for human review. These aren't gimmicks, they're speed boosts for accuracy, documentation, and decision quality. AI already lives in your back office, often quietly. Bookkeeping platforms ingest bank and credit card feeds, auto-suggest categories, and learn from corrections. Payroll systems detect misclassified workers and state registration gaps. Sales tax tools monitor product taxability, thresholds, and marketplace facilitator rules so you collect and remit the right amounts. Professional tax preparation suites use data validation, e-file diagnostics, and document checklists that adapt to your profile. Even your document portal uses AI to recognize forms and tag them correctly. The point is, you don't need a lab coat to benefit. If your apps update themselves and make smarter suggestions each month, you're already using AI. Compliance gets easier when the grunt work is automated. Start with expense categorization. Models learn that your recurring Adobe charge is software, your weekly UPS bill is shipping, and your lunch at the airport is not a deductible meal unless tied to business travel. AI-driven rules reduce misclassifications that can snowball into wrong totals on Schedule C or your S-Corp return. Then add receipt capture with audit trails. Snap a photo, and OCR pulls vendor, date, amount, sales tax, and even line items. The system links each receipt to the transaction and preserves an immutable trail, who uploaded it, when, and what changed. Next up, information returns and sales tax, the places penalties love to hide. AI-enhanced 1099 workflows collect W-9s automatically, validate taxpayer IDs against IRS formats, and flag potential contractor versus employee risks. As payments accumulate, the system maps vendors to NEC or MISC boxes and prepares e-file batches with address verification. For multi-state sellers, monitoring sales and use tax is no longer a spreadsheet hobby. Tools track economic nexus thresholds by state, alert you as you approach them, and estimate exposure if you're already over. They also track marketplace facilitator coverage so you don't double collect. Fewer surprises, fewer nasty grams, and faster filings. The crown jewel is real-time tax projections. Instead of waiting until March to learn what you owed last December, AI uses current bookkeeping to roll forward estimates every month. It ingests categorized transactions, payroll runs, depreciation schedules, and owner draws, then computes federal, state, and self-employment taxes. It applies safe harbor rules, tracks prior payments, and suggests quarterly vouchers calibrated to your actual year-to-date profit. Cash planning improves, underpayment penalties shrink, and you make smarter timing decisions. With alerts, you'll know mid-year if profits spike, if a new state return is needed, or if an equipment purchase could neutralize a looming balance. AI also accelerates strategy modeling. Take entity selection. By feeding in revenue, margin, payroll, and owner goals, tools can compare sole proprietor, partnership, S-Corp, and C-Corp scenarios with payroll taxes, state fees, and fringe benefits considered. For S-Corp, salary benchmarking helps set reasonable compensation. The model compares roles, industry, region, and time spent to produce a salary range that stands up to scrutiny while preserving pass-through profit for potential QBI benefits. Timing matters too. Simulations show the tax impact of deferring invoices, accelerating expenses, or prepaying deductions under the 12-month rule. You can see cash and tax side by side before you act. Layer in retirement planning and incentives. AI can propose contribution levels for SEP IRAs, solo 401ks, or cash balance plans, testing employee impacts and deduction limits. For pass-through owners, QBI optimization involves juggling wages, qualified property, and taxable income thresholds. Scenario engines surface the sweet spot between salary, retirement deferrals, and profit. On assets, tools flag cost segregation opportunities and model bonus depreciation phase-outs, giving you options to smooth income or front-load deductions. Credit discovery is another win. Natural language models scan your projects for R&D, energy credits like 45L and 179D, or the work opportunity tax credit, then prompt the documentation you'll need. Case Study 1. A freelance designer with income swings. Historically, she guessed at quarterly payments and paid whatever felt safe, starving her cash flow. We connected her bank feeds, cleaned her chart of accounts, and turned on rolling projections. The AI tracked profit, self-employment tax, and state liabilities every month, applying safe harbors and prior credits. By Q2, it suggested a lower estimate because expenses spiked with a new computer and conference travel. She set aside accurate reserves, avoided underpayment penalties, and didn't overpay. The side benefit: alerts flagged when it was time to set up a solo 401k to capture a larger deduction. Case Study 2. An S-Corp consultant targeting the QBI deduction. His salary had been set arbitrarily years ago. We used AI salary benchmarks based on role, region, and revenue to establish a defensible range. The model showed that raising wages modestly would satisfy reasonable comp guidelines while still preserving enough pass-through profit to claim QBI under the wage and property limits. We ran scenarios with and without a retirement plan and with different bonus timings. Net result: a tightened payroll, a solo 401k deferral, and a documented memo explaining the salary methodology. He slept better, and the numbers held up at year-end. Case Study 3. An e-commerce brand selling nationally. Growth pushed them across economic nexus thresholds in several states, but they didn't notice. We implemented a sales tax platform with AI that tracked gross receipts and transaction counts by state, excluded marketplace-facilitated orders where appropriate, and warned us weeks before thresholds were crossed. The tool produced registration checklists, mapped product taxability, and synchronized rates to their checkout. Because we registered on time and began collecting promptly, we avoided painful assessments and voluntary disclosure interest. The team could focus on marketing, not memorizing 45 definitions of what counts as taxable shipping. Case Study 4. A real estate investor with lumpy income. AI scanned closing statements and fixed asset registers, flagging properties where cost segregation might accelerate deductions. We modeled bonus depreciation timing as phase-outs change, weighing cash savings against passive loss limits and state conformity. One scenario front-loaded deductions to offset a big capital gain, another smoothed them over several years to avoid wasted losses. The investor chose a blended approach and scheduled engineering studies before year-end. Documentation prompts captured photos, invoices, and reports, so the file was audit-ready. Taxes dropped, but more importantly, volatility in taxable income was tamed. Let's level set on limits. AI does not replace professional judgment, current law interpretation, or ethics. It can draft a scenario, but a licensed pro determines whether it's permissible, advisable, and properly documented. Nuance matters, attribution rules, state quirks, basis and at-risk limits, and elections with deadlines. Also, the IRS is using AI too. Expect sharper information matching, cross-return analytics for high-wealth taxpayers, and better audit selection for complex issues. That means clean books, precise substantiation, and consistent narratives are more important than ever. If your documentation tells a clear story, AI at the IRS is far less scary. Security and privacy deserve their own spotlight. Before adopting a tool, ask about third-party audits like SOC2 or ISO 27001, encryption at rest and in transit, and role-based access so staff only see what they need. Confirm data residency and retention policies. Use multi-factor authentication and strong passwords through a manager. Avoid pasting full SSNs, bank numbers, or tax returns into public chatbots. Use enterprise tools with privacy controls instead. For file sharing, a client portal beats email every time. Keep an access log, archive old users, and document your procedures. Good security is good compliance and good business. Here's your getting started checklist. 1. Clean chart of accounts aligned to your business model. 2. Connect bank and credit card feeds. 3. Turn on receipt OCR and start capturing today. 4. Close the books monthly. 5. Schedule meetings. 6. Set life event triggers. New state, big asset, hiring family, equity comp, or a business purchase. Ask your pro. Which AI tools do you use? How are outputs validated? How often do you run projections? What scenarios are modeled? How is my data protected? Quick wins this year. Automate mileage and home office office logs, collect W-9s up front, streamline 1099 NEC Charmiski prep, set deadline reminders, and use a document portal. Bring in a pro for entity changes, multi-state operations, stock comp and RSUs, crypto, asset buys, hiring family, or buying or selling a business. At Premier Tax and Business Services, we pair AI speed with expert oversight. We covered AI basics, compliance, projections, strategy, cases, limits, and security. Ready to reduce stress and taxes? Schedule a planning session today. Thanks for listening to Tax Smarts Unlocked. See you next time.
Thank you for joining us on Tax Smarts Unlocked, the ultimate podcast for individuals and small business owners ready to conquer the tax landscape with confidence. Hosted by seasoned tax professional David Robson of Premier Tax and Business Services. Each episode has been carefully crafted to provide you with insightful advice on proactive tax planning. By adopting a smarter tax approach, you can focus on what you do best, growing your wealth and your business. We're here to guide you every step of the way. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to Tax Smarts Unlocked on your favorite podcast platform and unlock the secrets to confident tax planning. Remember, it's time to take control of your taxes and unleash your full financial potential.